I can't even think of anything to say, Steve, because we definitely need to talk about this game. I have no funny intro. Are you ready? That's my only question.
We're ready. We're ready. Let's go.
So,
Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Milan fans all over the world, with your hosts, Vinny T and Stevie P.
Benvenuti nella casa
Giroud in area, si gira, sinistro, rete, gol capolavoro di Olivier Giroud.
Mignon with another magical save.
Mamma mia, Teo Hernandez, coast to coast, del numero 19.
Leao carica il mancino. Eccolo qua, Rafa Leao.
Il Milan è campione d'Italia.
cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition on the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here we talk everything Milan, the shit show that is Milan. 9 goals in 2 games, Milan. Stevie P, Vinny T, I'm back. Yes, sorry about last week. Stevie P, first off, thank you for holding down the fort last week with Jan. Great discussion with the Juventini. Steve, it's going to be a heavy conversation. So why don't we just, before we do this, Steve, I wanted to ask you, shout out to Franco from New York and Colin from Milan Club Dublin. They met, worlds are colliding. They were there at the San Siro. We're not going to blame them for that debacle. But Steve, when they met, in my mind, they were meeting, the gatherings of the North America and Europe. And Colin, obviously, he's an Irishman. He brought haggis, to bring as a gift to Franco from New York. What would Franco from New York bring as a gift to Colin?
A New York style pretzel.
I like it, New York style pretzel. Guys, shout out to them. Thanks for sharing all the pictures and videos in the Milan Weekly, the Patreon group. Before we get into it, Steve, because on Patreon, let me start off with this, right? Because Fabio, from coast to coast, is like, if Inter embarrass us on the weekend derby and I travel from Long Island to Boston, I need to know who is bailing me out of jail. I might go to WWE and throw someone or myself through the CBS Paramount Plus stage. Lord help me. Presidente, as part of my contract, like any good agent / management, you will be expected to clean up your talent's mess. All the best. We stink. Forza Milan sempre. Inter merda. And on the shout out to Boston, guys. Anybody in the Boston area, our buddy Mark and Nick on Milan Club Boston, having a celebration with Paramount Plus going there. Hopefully, Steve, they don't have a result like we had this weekend, but great things in Boston, right? That wish we could be driving down.
Great things in Boston, and this is what we've asked for, and it's going to Boston this time. So shout out to the boys in Boston and CBS Sports with Paramount Plus doing a little bit of coverage. We've always talked about it here, how great NBC is to the Premier League. And again, is it perfect? No. But I think Paramount Plus for our friends in the US are doing a great job in trying their best to market this dinosaur product that is Serie A. And again, going to a city like Boston, where there's a heavy Italian community and Calcio community, and now the guys of Boston, Mark and crew, make us proud, guys. This is what it is. And it's not just Milan, it's everybody. It has to be the Calcio community. Yes, they're going to watch the Derby, which is one of the most important games of the Serie A calendar. Whether you like it or not, to Napoli fans, Roma fans, it is one of the most important games of the calendar season. So stop crying and get your diapers out to clean your ass and get your ass to the viewing party and celebrate with all the Serie A fans, because there's fans across the world that don't get these opportunities. So Milan Club Boston made it work. Milan Club Boston made it happen. Show up to Milan Club Boston. Show your support for your colors. We'll welcome you, but get yourselves there and make your presence known.
There we go, and you could check out on their social media. It's a whole afternoon of festivities, and Mark, best of luck to you and the team. Steve, enough of this little chit chat. Look, I wanted to ask you. You know me, I'm the optimistic guy. I'm always trying to twist stuff around, and I know on the pregame therapy, I was talking about, guys, why are you blaming Pioli? Look at the players. What can Pioli do? Let's turn this around. The positive. And Steve, I found myself at when we were getting the goals disallowed. Rightfully so. I'm not here to complain about VAR. I found myself laughing. To like, how worse can it get? Like, when you say you hit the bottom of the barrel, there's nothing but up to look at, and as the goals were coming, and I was trying, blaming Tatarusano, blaming the defense, blaming. At one point, I just laughed because I'm like, I can't pinpoint anything to anybody. It just, and to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning after a work party and going through that, and am I wrong? I know I'm always going to defend Milan, Steve. Always by our side, no matter what. Banter era, we've been through it. But is this the lowest point this season? This one hurt, did it not?
Well, look, it hurt. There's 9 goals in 2 games. That's the thumbnail for tonight, and it's exactly that. If you're giving up 9 goals in 2 games, you're not going to win matches. So they were bad against Lazio across the board. They're bad again against Sassuolo, early morning game for us, afternoon game for them, which they're never good at. So the thing that hurts is, the Milan fans, and again, guys, I'm Mr. Negativity, and I get a lot of heat when I'm negative on them when we're winning. But when we're losing like this, guys, it's stuff that we knew there was a problem from the Salernitana game. This team was dismantled by injuries, tired, a weird season. And it's not an excuse. It's just, it was a long season, stressful season. There's always that Scudetto hangover. And, in the past, we've seen the Juves and the, repeat time and time again. You kind of like tip your hat, and a bit, the Serie A was a little bit different then, with Milan and Inter not being that good. Was it easier? I say it was. It was easier to repeat. It was going to be a challenge, no matter what, to repeat. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is that I see this negativity, and we're trying to pinpoint these losses on one person. It's across the board. It's across the board from top to bottom. It's very easy to blame the owner that he's not spending money. Well, guys, Serie A is not going to give him any money. Serie A, you don't win anything when you win Serie A. So he's not going to get money from there. We can blame Pioli. Yeah, you can. Has he made some mistakes? Obviously, every coach makes some mistakes, but that's the lineup. Those are the players he has to start with.
I'm gonna, because I wanted to ask you about this, and it correlates with Ryan's questioning. It was, hey guys, this is getting laughable. We're approaching historically bad territory now. I hope it's not true, but do you think it's a collective team of Pioli, Massaro Maldini, the management trying to send a message to the owners? I saw the highlights from last match, and I saw some players jogging back when they were out of position. Also, I'm not a coach, but we need to stop conceding all these goals. Yeah, we need to pack the midfield and play a bit less aggressive. Does a 4-3-3 system and a midfield of CDK, Benes, and Tonali really sound that bad that we have not tried it yet? The questions, even Shane saying, like, hope you're all well, assuming that Pioli has lost the team completely and he's out of the door. So what are your thoughts on who's a viable replacement that can work with your youth, experience in UCL? The easy thing to say is like, oh, well, this is the track record for Pioli. He does good and he can't maintain.
No.
I'm just giving you what I hear.
I know, but that people will say that is just, you're copying again another excuse. Yeah. It's not the track record for Pioli. Pioli never won a Scudetto.
Exactly. And
So
and
this is not
we
the
were
track record.
we never ever, I think we've said it in the past, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, that Pioli, we love what he's doing, but we never believed that he was that coach to bring this to the top level. My discussion was always about, do you really think a Conte or
Whoa.
Gattuso?
No, no, no,
Gattuso
no, no,
got,
no, no,
got
no, no,
no,
no.
but
You
no.
have
My
to take
question
it
was,
down. No, but you have to take it down a notch. When we were
what I
talking
meant.
about next level, there's the next level is unattainable, guys. It's unattainable.
So it's not the
You could
coach.
bring Conte, you could bring Ancelotti. We do not generate the money to get to the next level. The next level is not coaching anymore. It's money. And Serie A does not generate enough money for any team, let alone Milan. It's changed now. Borthman is outbidding Milan for Italian homegrown players.
What team, Steve?
It's whatever it is, Borthman, whoever you, I don't care. No, but I'm angry because people don't understand that. The next level is unattainable, ladies and gentlemen. I see Gio. It's a couple of times. Bernardo Silva on loan. Yeah, Gio, we can take Bernardo Silva on loan, but we can't pay Bernardo Silva because Bernardo Silva is used to getting paid in the EPL, where it's 500 to 600,000 pounds per week. Per week, guys. The last place team in the EPL championship is going to make more than the winner of Serie A.
So to their questions, is it management's fault? Is it because everybody, that's the easy thing to do, And I keep on saying, guys, I'm sorry, you could have brought any kind of player. You turn around, you have salad makers, and you could bring on Messias. Is it a fairy tale that's gone too long, Steve? Because you were the first proponent last year. It's like, this is the miracle Scudetto. Yes, you were very happy about our beloved Milan winning a Scudetto, but you've said it. This is a miracle. Is it just everything catching up now? Because it's one thing about losing a game, Steve, 2-1 against Sassuolo, right? And even at 3-1, I started believing, okay, 3-1, still learning the game. But when you're losing 5 goals against at home, this is a sign, is it not? Why is this one hurting more than the other ones? I don't know. Maybe it's me that's overanalyzing stuff. I don't know.
Guys, you cannot let... At 3-1, you can't believe it's going to happen once. But it can't happen 2 times. In a span of a week, you were down 3-1 2 times before you played even 90 minutes. We're used to not letting in any goals. We've let in 18 in 2023. Since I think last July or last June, I think we let in 18 all that stretch of time. So there's a problem. It's a perfect storm of stuff. And I don't understand people online trying to pinpoint one thing. This is it's
because let's be honest,
everything.
Steve, let's be honest. Do you think that Magic Mike and Nets would have saved us from all this embarrassment?
Some yes. Some
yes.
Some he's gonna make a big save, but we're used to him making a big save. But now we're trying to compare apples to lemons. Tato Rusano was not brought in to play these amount of games. He was brought in as someone who, last year was able to cover for a couple of weeks. You get lucky. But guys, you're missing your goaler. You have no backup striker. You have no backup left back who played very, very deep into the World Cup. Theo Hernandez, there's a tweet out there. And again, I need to write them down. There's someone who put out a nice, it was a good tweet. It was one of those troll tweets. But it's Theo Hernandez losing the ball and jogging back. It's Theo Hernandez losing the ball and putting his hands up in the air. He's one of our best players. The smile is gone from Leao. That's the newspaper. So the newspapers are attacking, are getting on their back. Once you're down and you're the champion, you're gonna get attacked everywhere.
Nobody would be smiling at this point of the way
he's not, but he's doing back heels. He's doing
right.
back heels in the middle of the field, Vinny. So you understand it, and people are wondering why. Again, that's just the culture and where I come from and how I see soccer. If I'm down, I'm not looking for back heels, Leao. That's the frustrating part. And then you see online, oh my God, I can't believe they're booing, they're Ifishkia Leao, they're whistling Leao because he did a back heel. Yeah, because you're fucking losing, and you're not, and it seems like you're not taking it seriously because you're trying to do a fancy pass to get on the highlight reel, which no one's gonna care about because the game is gonna end 5-1. So it's the mentality, it's management not addressing issues that we needed. You're gonna compile this all with changing owner at a very, very tough time, and an owner that's gonna be taking in is gonna continue to say, "Hey, I need to be sustainable because we're not gonna make it." And this league is not gonna make it, guys. You have Juve losing points when they're gonna lose a ton of money. You have Inter. Yes, they're winning, but they're gonna lose a ton of money. Roma's not getting a stadium anytime soon. Napoli is in the shits as well. You know, they're going to win. If they win the Scudetto, that's great, but it's not going to solve everybody's problem. And it's the same thing for Milan. The Scudetto is not going to solve the problem because the problem is Serie A. And if Serie A doesn't want to take that seriously, and the people that are online at CBS and Paramount Plus and ESPN and Rai and Sky and DAZN and Gazzetta dello Sport, Corriere dello Sport, don't have the balls to say what the problem is, then they're just taking everybody for a ride.
You know, Facebook Frank had sent me last week a long message, and he was just like, his frustration was, you know, you saw what happened with Juve and even the investigation Osimhen, and he starts naming all these players that we were linked with the last 2 years. And it's like, well, no, we can't get to that much. We don't value him at that much, and we sacrifice, and no, we can't sign this player. Is it, you know, there's that fine line where you're trying to respect the rules, but then ask to compete, but you can't. So it's, I don't know, Steve. It's just the amount of frustrations I have, especially watching that game yesterday. And the only thing that was coming through my head, Steve, we're going to Tottenham to play Champions League. Forget, okay, the first game is in Milan. Where's this team going to go? And I'm like, you're getting beat. And now we have Inter. Now you have Inter on Sunday at 2:45. And one positive note I will say, Steve, I told you when I came back from the derby, utmost respect to La Curva Nord because they kept on cheering, even though they were losing, even after the game final whistle. A newfound respect to the Milan Curva and the chanting. They're down 5-2 and they're still chanting. And this is a message to everybody in the group chats on Twitter. You can criticize all you want, but don't fucking turn your back on Milan. This is our team, right? We have the right to, as fans, we have the right to criticize, but there's a certain level of negativity. It's like, what do you think is going to happen, right? Criticize all you want, be mad, be pissed, but you need to stand by your colors, because that's what, if you stood with these colors for the last fucking 15 years, you better stand at this time. No, Steve?
15 years, guys. We're not used to this in North America, and we try to make our European cousins understand. Guys, if you're a fan of the Cleveland Browns, yeah, you show up to the game with the bag on your head because they've won diddly squat, crap, shit. They suck. They're a terrible franchise. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. But this is Milan, guys. Depending on when you were born, and you can tell, I can tell the age of someone who's writing on Twitter, on Instagram, just by their tone. It's sad because you have to understand there's not a lot of fan bases that have been spoiled like Milan fans for so long.
Can we compare them to the Montreal Canadiens, Steve?
Yeah. Being able to purchase, being able to win Champions Leagues. Guys, Napoli has won one Scudetto, maybe two. Roma won, maybe two. And then the bonsai tree. It's like, you guys have to understand that there's peaks and valleys, and we hit a peak last year, and
we rode that peak. Yeah,
and we rode the peak. And I admit it. Was this team the best team out there? Probably not. But that's sports. That's why people love and are attracted to live sports, because there's a story that comes out. There's a miracle that could happen. Your team could get lucky, and we did, and we are still champions of Italy. But now, if you take it in small sample sizes, there's a lot of things that have gone on this season that you scratch your head, and again, they're not purchasing a striker, not looking to the future for a striker, knowing that Giroud is in his mid-30s and will be playing the World Cup and probably will go far into the World Cup. Looking at, a right wing that we need to address for a long time. And you know what? Sometimes you make a purchase, Macias, salchicha maker, and it worked, but you need to upgrade. You need to move on. And we didn't do that. And now we're paying the price, combined with injuries. Hey, by the way, it just got worse. Benacer is not going to be there for the derby. So now you're in Schitt's Creek. And let me remind everybody, we were fast to jump. We were fast to criticize. We were fast to say that he was not going to be an important part or is not an important part anymore. But man, do we miss Frank Kessie, ladies and gentlemen. We miss him.
Yeah.
He left in very shitty terms. The crap that is European football and the way you leave your team with nothing for nothing, because that's the way the stupid, corrupted system is in Europe. Well, yeah, he left. Does he regret it? Absolutely. Were we happy? Absolutely that he regretted it. But now, I ask anybody, would you take him back?
I don't think anybody would tell you no. But Steve, even to Ryan, coming back to Ryan's, the 4-3-3 system in a midfield of CDK, would it be with CDK? Do you think we've always played this system, right? Is it normal that a coach does not have a backup plan? I don't know. I just hear myself, and I'm just trying to justify. But in the end, the players are the players, and we showed La Grinta last year. But to say that we haven't tried this kind of system, and right now would be the time because it's bad, right? Nothing's working. Do you find it normal that nothing's been tried?
He has to try with the personnel that he has. He knows more than us. He's going to be the one who's going to tweak. We can suggest, we can try, but he sees them every day. Again, I didn't like the change of him pulling out CDK out of that Sassuolo game. I think, was he brilliant, a standout? No.
Had a couple of good moments, but
was he bad?
No.
So then keep him out there and make him understand how it feels to get smashed and slapped and smacked. Let's not try to coddle these guys. He has to be out there for the entire Sarlacking. We did it to Tonali. We leave him out there running around.
And we did do
in
that
the middle of the park, outnumbered, out. Has he played well either? No. No one has played well, so there's no one safe. No one is safe. And you know what? The ratings were actually spot on. The 4s came out, the 4.5s came out, because that's what they deserve.
Yeah.
And again, am I going to stop watching Milan or criticize or want anybody to get fired? No, I want them to fix it. It's time to fix. We're not in the game of throwing out someone and replacing him with someone else where we still have to pay 2 coaches. We just don't make enough money. The league doesn't give us enough money and luxury to do that.
And this final question before we move on. In the spirit of it's easier to change a coach than, the players. If Milan lose to Inter in a bad way.
Oh yeah, obviously it's easier. The coach is always the easiest.
Do you think is that his final?
You can't replace 11 players in one shot. So the coach is always the easiest.
Do you think that his job is in question if we lose badly to Inter?
I don't think so. I think that the management and the owner, if they're normal and have normal conversations, which I trust Maldini, Massara, Moncheda, and Cardinale, to have some sort of conversation and say, look, you cannot judge him on this. We're missing too many pieces. We're in a very strange situation right now. Let's keep it together. Let's keep it solid. Let's make top 4, which I hate saying. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but let's make top 4 the priority so that we can make that money that we're not going to make from the league. Because if we don't make top 4, guys, then you're going to see people leave that you really don't want to see people leave. And it's going to be even harder to attract people because you can't pay them the enormous salaries that are being shot out in the EPL. The EPL is where everybody wants to be, not because the game is great. It's marketed to a T, and the money is there. The EPL is the Super League that they didn't want to create.
With the rumors, with Gattuso leaving, una minestra riscaldata, as Facebook Frank wrote me, reheated soup. Would you even take in consideration if really shit hits the fan to rehire Gattuso?
I don't think that that minestra is even on the same fornello or oven top. I don't think it ended well between him and Maldini. I would not go down that venture. I don't think it's working out for Gattuso. He doesn't last more than a year wherever he goes. Even though he's someone da Milan and always will be of Milan, I just don't think that that's the right direction to go. I honestly, as someone who was never a big Pioli fan, admired what he did with Milan last year and the time that he's here with us. I don't think getting rid of him is the answer.
No, I don't think so either.
We need to get healthy. I think we need to have, some kind of reset on the psychological aspect of the game, because I think that's a big part. And lock down defensively. I see Dominic C2V, Dominic V2C. Yeah, look. See, the only formation change Pioli did recently was 4-4-2 out of desperation. Long balls to Giroud. But the 4-4-2, I don't think it was long balls to Giroud, the desperation. It's because we cannot control the midfield and we are getting shellacked. Goal on top of goal on top of goal. And everybody who says, Tataru Sano this and Tataru Sano that, guys, go look at those goals. Mike Maignan is gonna make saves,
but not all of them.
But don't compare Mike Maignan and Tataru Sano. Yes, one save here, one save there, you're gonna get. This is 9 goals in 2 games, guys.
I seriously don't think would have kept us in the game, but I don't think Maignan would have saved us from this last skid of 10 games.
Salernitana was the start.
Yeah.
Roma blowing that 2-goal lead was really the backbreaker. That, I think, screwed them up psychologically. Now, maybe, just maybe, which we love to say on Milan Weekly Podcast, throw away everything that happened before. Don't even think about what's going to happen next. But sometimes it's really nice to go into the derby as the underdog. Things change.
Okay, I like that.
Things change. The season, do I think things are going to change? No, I don't. But
the result, how about a result?
I'm not here to make predictions, but things do change. We've seen worse. We've seen worse Milan sides go into the derby, scrape out a tie at the last second, a la Zapata. At the last
Alex
second,
with the header, remember?
Alex with the header, and just break their back as well, saying, how did this Milan side scrape up a tie? Play shit soccer. I don't care. Park the bus. Do whatever the hell you have to do. Don't concede 9 goals. And let's go to the derby and fight for the derby. Those 11 players that we have healthy, throw them out there and let's go, guys.
That's basically it. And finally on Patreon, Gio, the positive, keep up the great work. Will the team be able to get out of the shit they're in? Also, can Milan get to the same place Bayern Munich are and able to sign elite players? Forza Milan sempre. I guess the players want to see more banter era jerseys. Been wearing the banter era jersey until we get a good win. Gio the optimist and Kimberini, he just had a shout out. Stevie's like, I hope you're all well. Not a question, but I just want to give a shout out to Fabio and Gio from coast to coast. Keep up the great work. This is for them. Please, guys, I would not bother doing player ratings on your next show. The whole team and Pioli all rated a big, massive, fat 0 and an F, because on Coast to Coast on Wednesdays they do player ratings. So Kim letting you guys know, just give everybody a 0. Steve, if you had to pick one player out of last game that played better than everybody else, who would you pick?
No one. No one is safe. Absolutely no one is safe. Even Origi scoring a goal, I don't care. Doesn't mean nothing. Could be the nicest goal, could be the worst goal, nothing. 0. No one was safe. No one was safe against Sassuolo. It was terrible from top to bottom. There's no player that becomes man of the match when you let in 5 goals. Absolutely not. Again, my most disappointing player, guys, I have to say, Hernandez has not been the same since he got back from the World Cup. I think he has no legs. I think he's just probably mentally exhausted, and it shows because is he the best defensive player that we have? No, we know that he's a liability defensively. Let's face it. But some of the things that we're seeing, guys, he's not even dangerous offensively, where the guy who's playing on the same side as him is saying, "Oh, you know what? I gotta chill on how much I wanna move forward because he's gonna burn me." People know Serie A, we have no money, but the teams are smart.
Steve, is the soundboard ready? Because it's coming. It's coming. So what do we have? La Giostra del Gol.
Has someone seen Sunny? Sunny, please come back to the WhatsApp group. Calling Sunny. Graphics are going down. Sunny.
Thank you to Presidente for giving us a thumbnail, and he's like, I couldn't do the table and everything, so I managed to. This is what we have. Shout out Sports Media Set. Steve, Bologna coming out with a win. Lecce Salernitana, Empoli Torino 2-2. Cremonese Inter. I really thought this was gonna stay a 1-1 tie somehow, some way. But Steve, they did it, right? This is when you're struggling. This is a kind of result that Milan needed when you're type of struggling, but they get it done, and no surprises here, other than what Skriniar supposedly PSG. It's done.
Yeah. Well, look, again, he wants to leave. There's more money. Again, another team outspending even one of our bigs, Inter. The big difference between Inter and Milan is, financially, we're both cash strapped, as it seems. Inter probably more so than us. Inter has not gotten hit too much with the injury bug so far, which, again, they come out, Lautaro Martinez, after going down to Cremonese, and squeak out 3 points. That was a tough win on them. But again, look, you're conceding 1. You can come back from 1. You're down 1-0 at the half. It's something to come back for. Milan, the last 2 games, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Vin, I don't even remember, but Lazio were down 2-0 at the half.
Yeah.
And, and this week, same thing, 2-1?
3-1.
3-1. So down 2 goals going into the half. There's not too many that you're going to come back from.
So they get it done. Atalanta beating Sampdoria 2-0. And, before we get into the Juventus result, guys, I will say one thing. My cousin Johnny, the first guy, I know he likes to poke fun at our friend Carlo. But, guys, if you're part of a team that likes to banter with another Serie A team, and your team hasn't played yet, shh, don't say a word. Just don't
Johnny
talk.
has a really bad problem with that, huh?
And Mike from Chicharo's he texted me the early morning because Johnny and Bizak went, and he's like, Vince, since you guys got these beautiful art stickers on these tables, you guys haven't won a game. Maybe it's a bad aura, but Juventus Monza 2-0 at home, losing to Silvio and Uncle Fester. This was a
pack up the bus.
Surprise.
Pack up the bus.
This was surprising, Steve, was it not?
Look, I watched this game because I really wanted to see how Juve was going to come out. Being at home, playing Monza, who Monza beat at home. albeit Di Maria getting a red card and they were playing with 10 men almost the whole game. Juve was terrible.
Yeah,
This
I
was
watched this. I was like, what's
terrible.
going on?
They had nothing, zero.
But Chiesa and Pogba are back, Steve.
Chiesa didn't play.
No, I'm saying that was the whole news, that they're back.
Yeah, no. This team, is again battered, defeated, deflated. They're all the thing, but they're not conceding 5. So, but again, an L is an L all the time. So, again, I thought Monza played. I thought Monza's goalkeeper answered me a lot of questions. I had a question all the time of why doesn't Crago play for Monza? Well, Monza's goalkeeper answered that. He made some fantastic saves. Fantastic. From outside the box, rippers from Di Maria. He was palming them away. Again, Susan was back. Vlahovic was back too. We saw him. Again, Milik getting hurt. So one comes back in, one gets hurt. So Juve, I think it's exposed. There was a problem. The midfield is a big problem. Defensively, Bremner is a shell of himself. And again, Monza gets a big 2 points, guys. This is for the relegation battle to stay away from the bottom 3. Taking 6 points away from Juve in a season, that doesn't happen too much. And I think it hasn't happened in the longest time.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Dr. Jekyll decided to show up against us last week, Steve. Mr. Hyde at home tying Fiorentina 1-1. I did watch this game. Even Immobile back on. It looked like they had taken the lead. It looked like it was going to be a dominant game, but in the end, Lazio just pull up the point there against Fiorentina. I'm not sure if you did watch this game.
Yeah, I did watch this game. I thought Fiorentina did push a bit, much more than Lazio. Again, you said it right. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Against Milan, they were all... Again, and now, is this how bad Milan was or is right now in their form and making Lazio look that much better? I think it had something to do with it because they didn't look that great against Fiorentina. I think they still could have won this game. Both teams actually could have won this game, and at the last minute, Milenkovic hits the crossbar for Fiorentina to keep it at 1-1. Milenkovic SMS is just fantastic. I think Luis Alberto's great too. Lazio have a striker problem. I don't think Pedro's not the long-term solution. Immobile even coming on. Yes, guys, he does score goals, but he also misses a lot. I noticed this game here, he really misses a lot of chances.
He's bringing his inner Azzurri self, missing a lot of chances, Immobile, but still 1 point. Napoli, Roma, Steve, I really had thought that somehow, some way, Napoli was going to, choke on this one or Roma was going to pull a fast one, but Napoli in the end showing that they're champion material in this Serie A state. What were your thoughts about this game?
Okay, Osimhen is a beast. I think.
How long is he going to wear the Batman mask, Steve?
He did not.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, how long is he going to wear that, Matt?
I think he has to wear it for quite a bit of time. Even Bonaventura has it now.
Yes,
I think
I saw that,
once you have it, it's for a long time. If it's the orbital bone, you got to wear it for quite a bit of time. But anyways, it looks good on him. I think he's a beast. Look, Roma. I think Roma, Inter, Milan have all caused Napoli problems. For Roma and Milan, Napoli going into the Mercato and taking Simeone from Verona, this guy is going to be remembered for games like this for stealing points. Same
against
thing
Milan
against
too.
Milan.
Yeah,
He comes in and he just scores goals. Super sub, and again, that's addressing the need. And imagine they have Raspadori there too, so who doesn't see too much time. They went, they spent money, they addressed the depth problem, but even at that, Serie A, unfortunately, the depth team, the second team, just doesn't do it.
And looking at this now, Udinese, Verona today 1-1. Napoli, guys, unless there's 18 games left, right? There's 38 games unless of a big, fuck up. Napoli's winning the 13 points ahead of Inter. It looks like it's just going to be the battle for top four. You have, from look at Udinese at 29 points compared to 38 Lazio. Lazio had the opportunity to get up some points, but it looks like it will be a fight for second, third, and fourth place, Steve. At this point, I know there's still lots of game to play, but in the end, it's been very rare that a 13-point lead gets squandered with 18 games left in the season.
Yeah, it would take an absolute complete breakdown. I don't. We've seen stranger things. It's a really strange season. We've seen stranger things. So look, can they win? Go on and continue winning. They have a nice cushion now. They can make some mistakes, but Serie A is crazy at times. So I'm not ready to say that they're champions. They think they're champions though. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
The soccer gods remember a lot of things. Now, let's see what happens till the end of the year.
Some guys, Steve, on the Serie A fantasy league. If you take a look there, let me see if I can pull it up. Present. I thought I had it figured out, but it doesn't look like it. But the Serie A fantasy, Steve. I know you do your own fantasy. How is it on your personal ones?
It's absolutely shit. I'm terrible at fantasy.
So not even changing anything. Look at, we got Fami still in the first. Justin from Milan Club Montreal there in third place, 1,564 points. Guys, it's pretty fun to see all these. Even Peter from Milan Wiki Podcast. Look at that, in 11th place. Ciao, Presidente. So guys, keep on looking at that at Serie A Fantasy.com. Presidente, I'm not sure what he's going to give away, Steve. Maybe something from his personal collection. We shall see. But the Serie A Fantasy.com, and let's see who comes up at the end of the season as number one. Steve, before we get into busted tweets, do you have anything to add? Any indigestions? I know we're probably going to see each other on Sunday for the Derby at 2:45. Patreon, you guys know I'm with you. Just before, I know that somebody had mentioned a comment on YouTube. How come you don't have the group therapy sessions after the game? I'm like, that's what the podcast is for, right? That's our group therapy for Steve. But anything to add, Steve, before we get into the busted tweets?
No, I think we set it up tonight, guys. It's always Forza Milan. Again, I'm very, very negative. It's part of my nature. I critique a lot, but at this point in time, guys, this is us having to continue to support the team that we love, right? So I don't know how you guys go at it with one another on social media and Instagram. I try to stay away with it. I've seen some nasty things said to Martino, our buddy there from New York. I don't understand where these things come from. It's arguments that are created for clickbait or interactions or trolling, whatever it is. Younglings call it. But for me, it's always Forza Milan. I want to see them win. I want to see them try to fix this. That's about it. And we go into the Derby, and you never know what's going to happen. So
exactly. And guys, last but not least, check out in the comments, anybody in Montreal, Derek Pinef. I know Steve, you had mentioned last week to mention you're a member. You don't even have to mention that you're a member of the Milan Club. Just mention the Milan Club Montreal club. They'll give you 10% off on every single item that's not on sale. You need a birthday cake. Ice cream cake is very good. Derek Pinef, and to our friends Manmade, another link directly there. Guys, they have a couple of bundles. Steve has the underwear. I got the underwear, the socks. The soap, guys, is actually fantastic. Give it a try there to our friends at Manmade. Steve, siamo pronti to end this night with a little laugh. Let's see what the Jan, the intern. Why are you crying? Is there anything way, Steve?
Yeah, it's all these guys who are going to cry that we're making fun of their tweets.
Slide number 1. At Antonico, Napoli was always made fun for winning balanced book Scudettos every year. Now, Inter can't afford a ham sandwich. Juve is being investigated for stock market manipulation, different wages. Milan's Redbird only authorizes loan with option to buy. Not funny anymore? Napoli. Steve, I maybe this guy doesn't know that the Osimhen is kind of being investigated, that they might look into this one. So his laundry is clean, Steve, at Napoli. There's nothing wrong there.
And this is the beauty and the disgustingness of social media is you're on there giving your opinion only about what you feel you want to give your opinion on.
Okay.
Not the complete story, right? Again, someone should tell Antonicchio that Serie A is at fault for everything, and these clubs, Inter, it's their own debacle. Juve as well, Milan as well. So,
but he's an analyst, Steve. Don't you know that he's a financial analyst? He knows why Redbird only authorizes loans with option to buy. He knows the intricacies of a sale between two. But thank you, Antonico Napoli. But yes, Steve, Jan, he found one gem here, but you think he's got a couple more for us? I'm sure he does. But any last comments on Antonico?
Next.
Sievush here, and Jan told us he was referring to Tatarusano. Antonio Conte won a Scudetto with a keeper performing like this. Which keeper would this be? Which keeper
it would be Handanovic?
Conte with Handanovic? No, not at Inter. What Scudetto did he win at Inter? Conte at Juve. Which? Jan, give us a comment here. Who would he be talking about? Szczesny? When he was really bad? No. Guys, help us out here, but let's get back to this one. Unless Jan gives us a update. Number 3, voice of Rossonero. This guy, Menez, Kuchka, Bacca, Bonaventura, Deulofeu, in their best Milan days would still be starters in the squad. What?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so you're saying Tarat, Menez, Kuchka, Bacca, Bonaventura, and Deulofeu in their best Milan days would still be starters. I'll give you Deulofeu would start.
Yeah.
I'd give you that start. Menez, because I want to give Giroud a rest because he's actually an option. Kuchka would be replacing. Bacca replacing with Menez. Bonaventura wouldn't be starting in this one, but voice of Rossonero. But Tarap, Steve, Tarap would be starting on this Rossonero team. Busted.
Only Deulofeu for me.
Everybody's answering Handanovic. Yeah, he did mean Tatarusano, but did Conte won a Scudetto with Inter? Like, these things are blocked out of my mind. So that's what he means. But thank you, boys. The few Juventus fans around the world who still haven't canceled their Serie A subscription in protest at the 15-point penalty, they're definitely canceling now after watching this Allegri horror show. Okay, Carlo. And Steve, I know you're a Patreon member of theirs. I'm trying to understand this. You asked for everybody to cancel the subscription to go against the decision. But now you want them to really cancel it because Juve played like shit. I'm trying to. I don't know the guy.
I don't know.
Steve.
I don't get it. I don't know why this is continuing. Why he continues to do this? It's not a good look.
It is. I'm sorry, Carl.
It's not a good look for someone who covers Serie A. It's not. The first time was okay, cool, whatever. I was very angry when I saw it. I was really angry
to cancel because of the protest. Now you're protesting because of the loss.
This league needs all their help that they can get, especially English content.
Thank you.
Especially English content, and they do a fantastic job of English content. They get tons of guests. They use their Patreon money fantastically. Guys, come on.
Yeah, that's
Nima, control Carlo. Carlo, if you want to come on and talk about this, by all means,
Carlo,
we'll be
come on.
happy to have you on.
Yes, please.
But this has to stop. It can't be.
Explain yourself. Explain yourself. That's all. We'll have you on. We're calm, cool, and collected. Does he have anything else for us here? That's all. So Carlo to Menez, and they're confirming, guys, he did win a Scudetto with Andanovic. Comparing Tatarusanu to Andanovic, Sevush, I know you're friends with Nima, but this one you can't really compare Andanovic to Tatarusanu. Steve, I'm gonna have to go with Carlo on this one. I'm sorry, buddy, but this one's bad.
Yeah, it's because it's more than one time. It's the second time now. Like, we didn't give it the first time, we have to give it now.
And this is more like, hey, I told you to cancel because of the injustice against the Juventus, but now I want you to really cancel because the injustice is Max Allegri. So Carlo on this one, definitely sorry, but yes, we invite you on. Come on, let us know. Stevie P, we got Sunday 2:45. We need a win, and like you said, the derby is the derby. You can have the shittiest fucking season, the shittiest run of games. The derby is the derby. Speriamo e la svolta. I understand the criticism. I understand being mad. I understand being pissed off. But you need to stick with your team. Stick with your team. And, you could beat Pioli out. You could beat this. But in the end, nothing's positive's going to happen if you don't stick by your team. And I know that I've seen a couple of, I think you had retweeted, Steve, I think it was this girl or an Instagram on Twitter that kept on shitting on Milan. But in the end, it's like, but never think that I will never leave your side. Per sempre Forza Milan. And I think this is the time that we need to get together, right, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's tough. Everybody has their own opinion. I get that, but we got to get back to a time and day where someone tells you when your opinion's absolutely just fucking wrong. And some people out there, again, I voted, and I hope Elon listens. There should be a Twitter punch. When you see things like that, you press the button and your phone punches you in the face. And I think it would solve a lot of problems.
And you know what? Stay tuned, because Gio and Fabio have been using the, what do you call it, Steve? Twitter Spaces. They have a little conversation on there. So keep up with the notifications. Guys, Wednesday, Coast to Coast, Gio and Fabio will be on there. And even though there's no Milan games, they always bring a different flavor to the Milan Weekly Podcast Network, shall we call it. Presidente, thank you for the thumbnails. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for downloading. We appreciate every single view, every single download, every single listen. To Mark on Sunday, good luck, buddy. Do North America proud. Hopefully Milan gives us a win. Steve, before we say bye to everybody, one last question to you. If you're good with Zaniolo, what's your amount?
I don't know. I wouldn't go. I would take the loan with the option to buy.
Would 25 be comfortable with you?
It's a gamble, but at this point here, if this is what the management has identified as someone that they want to bring in and they want to gamble, again, 25 for the Premiership is nothing, as you can see. 25 for a team like Milan is a lot, and I would go in 25 would be my max.
And I know everybody's saying, he's a cancer, he's a fatto di carta, that he gets hurt. Guys, I get it, but in the state that Milan is right now,
we've taken chances on a lot of guys who have been tough in the dressing
I was ready
room.
to take Cristiano Ronaldo. People call me crazy, but in the end, sometimes you got to put your feelings aside.
Yeah.
On that note, guys, thank you once again, like I said, for watching, for listening, for downloading. Stay tuned. Notifications on. Milan Coast to Coast will be on Wednesday. I will see Patreon friends for therapy on Sunday before the game. Steve, hopefully I see you on Sunday. Milan Club Montreal, show up in big numbers. Who knows, maybe our newfound friends from the Inter Club of Montreal will be there. Anything else, Steve, before we bid adieu?
Let's go. Forza Milan!
Ovunque sempre.
Forza Milan!
Ciao, guys.